Hey, Right Side Broadcasting, welcome back to day 2 of CPAC 2021 America Uncanceled. I'm Grace Saldana, and I'm here with Anthony Sabatini, congressional candidate in the state of Florida. How are you doing today?
Never been better. Great to be on here. Honored to be with Right Side Broadcasting today.
Awesome, thank you so much. So you're running in what will be District 7 of Florida, correct?
Yeah, U.S. Congress, District 7, Central Florida. It's like the northern suburbs of Orlando, held by a very, very radical left-wing Democrat, Stephanie Murphy, and so we got to eliminate her and take the House back.
Yes. So last time you were on Right Side Broadcasting, we were at Club 45 event a few months ago. So tell us about your success since then, your endorsements, what's been going on for you?
Well, that was a great event. I was honored to share the stage with one of my heroes, General Michael Flynn. We had a absolute great crowd that day. It was like 1,000 people or something.
Yes.
And so since then, we picked up huge momentum in the election. You know, we've raised almost $400,000. I'm endorsed by Congressman Matt Gaetz, America First fighter Matt Gaetz. Also, one of my other favorite folks in the movement, the man who helped convince Donald Trump to run for president, Roger Stone. So Roger Stone's helping. And we got some other big endorsements coming on, but we're picking up big momentum. And you know, folks want to see an America First fighter, and then I'm in the state house. I'm a state legislator in the Florida House of Representatives, and I'm mostly known for fighting the lockdowns because I believe in individual liberty and freedom and the Constitution, and we've sort of taken that energy and channeled it into the congressional election.
Fantastic. So you are an America First candidate. It's safe to say that you align with President Trump's policies.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. You know, for me, America First means kind of big picture, stopping the destruction of the middle class. That's what's happening in this country. And the Republican Party needs to be the party of the middle class and the working class. That's how you're going to grow the party. And so taking on big tech, realigning our trade policies, and just stop trying to appease the big woke corporations that hate this nation and hate our sovereignty. Those are kind of the big tenets of the movement, and that's what I believe in.
So it's not that you were calling to not sue big tech, but to break up big tech.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great distinction that's being made. You're seeing a lot of the rhinos and the established Republicans say, we just need to launch a lawsuit or whatever. And it's like, no, we have to actually cut off and stop the influence of Silicon Valley, because their goal at the end of the day is to just muzzle Republicans. Now, I think if we had a free and open press, open media, I think you'd see overwhelming Republican victories because we have the more populist agenda, we have the better ideas. But big tech is literally just inhibiting the dialogue, inhibiting Americans from coming together and getting the truth out. So they're an existential threat to our country. We have to shut them down, period.
So what do you think the solution is specifically? Like, how do we break up big tech? How do we go about that?
Well, as a state legislator, I think the biggest thing we can do right now is classify them as common carriers, which stops immediately their ability to discriminate against anyone based on viewpoint. But ultimately, you need to use Section 230 or an antitrust law to just really waive them of all their liability and also cut them down. We need to use our anti-monopoly legislation, antitrust legislation that already exists and the legal precedent we have already to just cut them up because they have too much market share. They're using the market share to cut off and destroy other avenues of competition, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that another type of parlor doesn't emerge again. So it's like a 2 or 3 front battle.
Great. Well, I'm so glad that you are heading that on because that's so important, and that's obviously the theme of this conference, and President Trump is also taking that battle as well. And I want to point out something that your opponent said, Stephanie, who is a long-known Democrat. She called you the worst Republican in history.
Yes.
So what will you do for Floridians that she thinks is just so horrible?
Well, I always think that's a great barometer. It's like a litmus test. If the radical left...
It's a badge of honor.
It is. It's actually framed on my wall. If the radical left in the media is attacking a Republican, that usually means that he's a true conservative and America First fighter. If the media and the Dems are silent on an elected Republican, that's usually a red flag. That usually means that person is probably a liberal or working against their own base, which a lot of the Republicans are. They're not working for their base. They're not working for the voters. And so I love it, and I like I said, it's a badge of honor. But we've already used it in an email, and I think it's probably going to go on my T-shirt. But
you should totally make a
angry.
T-shirt.
She's done 2 emails already attacking me as being.
They were
radical.
vicious.
Yeah.
It was almost borderline illegal with defamation or
it's
something.
It's almost defamation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost there, but they like to play that line. But that's how they attack Republicans like you, and you are just trying to return power to the people.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, they're about the concentration of power. Stephanie Murphy is actually, her history is she was a person that worked in D.C., worked in the swamp, worked for the Department of Defense, never wanted to leave the swamp, moved to Florida to get elected and go back to the swamp. And you're seeing that a lot. You're seeing these folks come out of D.C., out of the swamp, into the states, into the more red, county, states, districts, to try to get elected and go back in there and then just grow the power of the swamp. At the end of the day, the goal is basically to concentrate power in D.C. where they can benefit. I mean, she personally benefits from the trade policies that they pass. She talks about wanting to help labor, but they own a company that has all their contracts in China. They actually, her and her husband, manufacture all of their goods in China. It's actually just sort of ironic.
So un-American.
Yeah, it's un-American. They got to go. And it's actually one of the top 5 seats in the nation that's being targeted by the NRCC, the National Republican Congressional Committee, to flip, because if we flip it, we'll take the House back and get rid of Pelosi.
How close are you to flipping it?
5 seats. I think that's all we need. This is the thinnest margin. Oh, we're gonna flip this particular seat. Early polling is showing that she's not doing well. She's already being held to task by Pelosi. She's voting with the party on everything of what's traditionally a purple district, so she's probably going to be tossed out. But hopefully, in Florida, we have redistricting coming up. I guess every state does. And it's about to become a more Republican seat. So we have a big advantage going into the election. We just got to make sure we get the grassroots energy out there. And hopefully your listeners are living in District 7 and they'll support me and we'll get rid of her.
Yes, we will do our best to support you in District 7. And so can you tell them about what date your election is, when the redistricting is happening, what's the timeline for you?
So August 23rd next year, 2022, is the primary, which I'm the overwhelming favorite for, but the election will be the second Tuesday in November. And I'm hoping that we get a blowout victory. But the maps come out, redistricting maps come out in December, so folks know exactly where the lines get drawn sometime in December or January.
Perfect. And how can people support your campaign?
Follow me on social media, Anthony Sabatini on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, everything. I'm everywhere. Or just call me, text me, 352-455-2928. I stay in touch with the grassroots. I stay in touch with every voter in the district. And, like I said, we have huge momentum. We just need to channel that into votes and get rid of communist Stephanie Murphy.
Awesome. So there you have it, Anthony Sabatini, running for Florida's District 7. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Grace.